and to be the bad guy, I had to, uh, I had to prove myself and do my kung fu and beat the, beat the shit out of the main star. Just beat him up, and that's what I did. And the, I guess the stunt coordinator said I was too rough, and but I did a good job at choreography, but I was way too overacting in it, and they said that that try to be more yourself, just be yourself, and when you're like when you're in a fight scene, in a fight, real life, just be yourself. Don't be overreacting, because that just made it look more comical with the everything. So just try to be yourself. That's what I did, and they brought on this big fat guy. I had to kick him around a little bit. I had to knock the kick the briefcase out of his hand, and and hit him with it. And, I didn't. I felt like that if I didn't do it, that the office was going to get pissed. So I did it anyway, and then So yeah, the big fat guy was Kenny Bolin. I just hit him over the head with the BS briefcase and knocked him unconscious. They told me to do that. Just hit him on the head. Is not hard, but enough to knock him out. And that's what I did. And and I just fucked him up. I mean, I didn't give him a concussion or anything, but he was dizzy. He could barely walk. I had to actually put him on a fucking, I think it was like a lift, because he's so fat. And they had to carry him on the lift all the way into the back. Yeah, it was funny. But, yeah, that was great. Watch him get carried up by the lift. But yeah, that my kung fu does come in handy and skillful in real life. People tell me you should go to MMA. I said no, I've been in MMA. I wrecked a bunch of guys in there. People say, oh, kung fu isn't effective. Well, I wrecked a bunch. Ask the guys I wrecked in the cage. I mean, it comes to unless it's the UFC, unless it's UFC, it ain't legit, ain't gonna work. That's not the case. Unless you've asked somebody who's been in a real situation, they had to use their kung fu. It's very effective. Like, there's certain things I cannot use in MMA that I could use in a real fight that could legitimately kill you. And that's what kung fu was invented for originally, was to kill in battle. That's why it was invented. But yeah, you don't want to fuck with a kung fu guy, a master or a sifu. Very dangerous individuals. Also there was a kung fu instructor who was training special forces, and the guy, one of the special forces, who had trained, who was the elite of the elite guy in there, called out, said that shit would never work on him, and I guess he wanted to try it, and he got sent to the medical center on the base. So yeah, don't mess with the kung fu. This kung fu instructor has been doing this since he was like since he was like a kid. So the special forces guy didn't know that. He didn't even ask him questions. He just wanted to test him, and he wasn't a kung fu seafood. He ended up in the medical center on the base. But yeah, it's things. And you said Aikido. Well, Aikido was only meant to disarming people with weapons, swords. But Aikido, like what you see Steven Seagal do. That shit would only work if somebody's coming at him armed. Like if someone comes at him with a knife, a dagger, or even a gun, if they're armed, Aikido becomes effective at that point. But just doing on somebody who isn't armed, they can resist. it's hard for an armed person to resist when they're armed. They got something in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Like a sword, they can't resist at that point. Yeah, that's so. If I don't got anything in my hand, and I could resist at that point. Because there's nothing in my hand to keep me, nothing heavy in my hand to keep me from resisting. That's what Aikido was meant for. It gets a bad rap because these Kidokas are usually demonstrating with unarmed combatants. You have to demonstrate with somebody who's armed, and then people will say, "Well, that works." They're always doing it against unarmed individuals. You don't do that. That's not how Aikido was worked. That's why you see Steven Seagal. He's using it on somebody who's armed, and on camera. When I would see him do it on camera, I said, "Oh shit, this guy's brutal." And then when I see guys like Chuck Norris doing something, like Chuck Norris sucks. Like the people, like I understand, like Chuck Norris would get fucking destroyed by Steven Seagal. I mean, easily. I mean, Chuck Norris comes at Seagal with a weapon. Seagal's gonna kill him. I mean, Norris did train in Aikido, but he wasn't near the level of Steven Seagal. But he knew it. I seen him do Aikido in Walker, Texas Ranger. But that was good, but can it be effective against someone who's unarmed? It depends on what you're using in Aikido. My advantage used I like the clothesline thing. If I'm going to use Aikido, I'm not going to go for the wrist. I'll go for the boom, like that. I'm not going to, But one of the worst styles I have to say in combat is Taekwondo. Like, that's too flashy. If you using Taekwondo and you're a black belt Taekwondo and I've seen Taekwondo guys get fucking beat down in a street fight, trying to kick somebody, and the guy grabs his fucking leg and just tosses him into a fucking wall, knocks him out or kills him. Like, don't do that. Somebody could grab your leg and just break your leg too. But the most effective martial art is a weapon. Most people say, well, Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or boxing or something like that. No, it's a weapon. The most effective martial art is a weapon. Plain and simple. It's a weapon. But yeah, Kenny Bolin's just a fucking fat fucking piece of garbage. He claims that he lies a lot too. I mean, he's full of shit. If you watch his fucking show, he's full of fucking garbage. I mean, he could pop his mouth. He opens his mouth, every single word is fucking shit. Like, he probably eats dog shit. That's how much full of shit he is. He's a fucking idiot. Anybody who believes anything he says, a lot of stuff he says is true. Yes, there's a lot of facts to what he says when it comes to the rest of the stories that he tells. But when it comes to the money and him and his charities, that's all bullshit. When it comes to a lot of things he says about Cornette, some of it might be actually true, but he likes to over-exaggerate it to make it sound more believable than it really is. But a lot of stuff about Cornette and Stacy, that shit probably is true. I wouldn't doubt it because they're swingers, and he probably did have some of the boys do some extra fucking cock-sucking, fucking his fucking Stacy to get a fucking job or whatever, or to get over. That probably shit is true. Jim Cornette's a nasty motherfucker. So it probably wouldn't be. I believe Kenny when he talks about when it comes to Cornette doing some nasty shit. There was another guy who was on Twitter who exposed Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette may not be a racist anymore, but he is a nasty motherfucker. I mean, he's nasty. He's gross. I mean, he's a fucking weirdo. I mean, but that's his business. But as far as the weirdest guy in the fucking business, rest in peace, was one dude, the old guy, Pat something. Pat. I heard he liked to give other guys blowjobs. I believe that he did that because there's actually some stories behind that. he did do that shit. I believe he did. Um, but he came out of the closet, and I love him to death. God rest his soul, but he was a good guy. A very good guy. But, yeah, I mean, that's his business. But when you try to stick your hands down someone's pants and they don't do nothing to you, if that had been someone like New Jack or someone who, he would have got fucked up. I'm sorry. If that had been someone like Brock Lesnar or someone like myself, he would have lost his fucking life probably. Because that shit you just don't do. Certain people he knew not to do that to. Like he didn't do that to JBL, or he didn't do that to Test, he didn't do that to Sean O'Hare, he didn't do that to Triple H without getting his head knocked off, getting his slate cleaned. I mean, he didn't, but he did that to a couple other guys. He did that to, in the elevator. I heard he did that to Brickhouse Brown. And Brickhouse Brown, for some reason, didn't do that to him. Because he was afraid he would lose his career or something. But, come on. Go let somebody just grab you in your groin and you're not going to do shit about it. Sounds like you liked it. I'm sorry. Rest in peace to Brickhouse Brown. But if you're going to let somebody touch you and you just don't, and you make an excuse about it, well, I don't want to lose my job. It seems like, no. That's something you don't do to another man, and I believe that maybe he liked it a little too much. This is my opinion. But yeah, there's certain things you don't do to people. And Kenny's done a lot of shit to people. Yeah, he does a lot of shit to people. Do I think he's gay? Well, he hasn't been married to the same woman in like 30 years. So, if he likes men, if he's that's what he's doing right now, if that's what he isn't doing when he's not on his scamming bullshit, he's getting plowed in the ass. Wouldn't bother me none. That's his business, but I don't see why any fucking human being would want to fucking plow him anywhere. Unless they're taking a dildo, shove it up in his rectum, and hearing him scream bloody murder, because he deserves that shit. He's a garbage person. But, no. I like to hear Bob Holly see how he would like to torture Bolin. That would be interesting. That'd be great entertainment. Hearing Bob Holly see how he'd like to torture Kenny Bolin. That would be something.